Today, more than ever before, consumers have a certain expectation aligned to the personalization of that experience. Know me. Understand me as an individual, understand my state of mind, understand my personality, not just understand my demographic and transactional history. And I think the more we can relate the advertisements to them personally, to tailor that experience to something that's meaningful to them, the more they're going to opt in and tune in to listen to what we have to say.
I think it's about what are you providing back to the consumer that's going to enhance their lives. Are you giving them a product that's going to make something in their lives easier? Are you sending them a message that's going to emotionally resonate with them? All of these things I think provide value, and there's a lot of way that some brands are already doing it.
You talk about how to really connect with consumers. We like to use the word connection. It implies that no one's going to tune out because connection is something that is two-way, right? When you can bring data and insight so that you know, first of all, whether a consumer is even the right consumer to be speaking with, and then if they are the right consumer, what is the message that is going to strike relevance for that consumer? Then you're not going to see that tune-out scenario.
What we have today is we have a fantastic new media, that is probably only 20 years old, and you can see it's going to drive the growth of all advertising expenditure globally. The problem is we are misabusing, this new media by, just channeling ineffectual communication to clients based on inappropriate data points, and the consumer experience is tarnished. There's a reason why people are using this technology, because we've got empowered consumers. They're using this technology to disconnect with these very ad messages which we need to deliver.
I think it's really important today to really ensure that there's a narrative and a real conversation that pulls the customer, the guest, the member to you, right? So instead of pushing a member or a guest into the information, pull them with information that is interesting to them, relevant to their lives, told in an authentic tone that feels relevant to them.
We have a job as publishers or as broadcasters to really reinvent ourselves when it comes to advertising. I think a lot of the formats we have today are not really working. If you look at display banners, 0.01% is clicking on them. So it's not really something that consumers are leaning into. So we need to come up with new ways of engaging the audience. I think we've seen some of that. We've seen it with native advertising, branded content. We've seen it with some new video formats. We've seen it with in-stream ads. I think we're also going to see it with VR, augmented reality. Those are the new frontiers.
So it's very simple in this digitally led, on-demand environment controlled by consumers. You have to earn their attention. And so if you're a media property, you have to have a value exchange in there where the consumer is willing to even consider hearing advertising. And if you're the marketer, you have to be saying something compelling that fits that environment. So that really is the key. And then I think whether or not the environment is mobile and social is very different than if it's right before Hulu. So there's a different mechanism of storytelling and earning attention depending on which media vehicle you're in.
Consumers are expecting experiences that are intimate, immersive, and interactive. They don't want a broadcast message, they want something that deeply adds value to them and their lives.
Brands have to think like programmers. They have to think that content is part of the thing that their brands do, part of the experience somebody has with a brand, and they have to think as hard about that as we think about it.
Companies like Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat have sort of dodged the ad blocking threat by integrating advertising into the content that their users are used to seeing. One of the most interesting ways that's manifested itself this year is people actually using brands on their own faces through Snapchat lenses. People are branding their own pictures, which is just, if you asked any advertiser about that 4 years ago, nobody would have expected it. So there's ad blocking, but then there's really direct engagement with ads as long as it's good content.
So the key to keeping consumers' attention is quality, is to do things that's going to galvanize them and not make them turn away there.